A pleasure to introduce the presenting author is Dr. Zuleika, and she's going to speak to us on clinical study on endogenous endophthalmitis in a tertiary eye care center in South India. Dr. Zuleika, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'll be presenting on clinical study on endogenous endophthalmitis in tertiary eye care center in South India. Sir?
Slides are not moving.
Hello.
Slides
sir?
are not moving?
Yes, sir. Technical issues. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. So endogenous endophthalmitis is an intraocular infection caused by hemorrhaginous spread from test and focus, and it accounts for 2 to 8% of all the endophthalmitis cases. So aim was to study the etiology, clinical features, investigation, management, and outcome in patients with endogenous endophthalmitis. So it was a retrospective interventional case series of 48 eyes of 42 patients treated for endogenous endophthalmitis in tertiary care center between 2010 to 2020. And systemic risk factors, exact etiology, management, anatomical and functional outcome were analyzed. All patients underwent extensive workup, especially microbiological workup. Appropriate additional investigation and ocular images were done. So the results were as mean age of presentation was 45.9 years, ranging from 12 days to 88 years, including 3 neonates. It was more common in females, and in 86% of the patients, it was unilateral. The culture was positive. In vitreous sample, it was 72.7% and echo sample 46.5%. PCR positivity was seen in 90.6%, and most common infectious agent was bacterial, and most common organism isolated was gram-positive cocci. And urine culture was positive in 9 cases. Most common organism was E. coli. The most common systemic comorbidity was diabetes mellitus, and concomitant infection was a UTI. So the visual acuity presentation ranged from 6/9 to nil PL, and final visual acuity was improved in 47.91%. And 3 underwent evisceration. All 3 were gram-negative bacterial infection. 25 eyes underwent pars plana vitrectomy, of which 52% had better visual outcome. And anatomical success rate was seen in 62.7%, and functional success rate was seen in 58.1%. The most common complication we encountered were cataract and retinal detachment. So this is a case example where an 83-year-old male came with complaint of blurring of vision in both eyes. He was diagnosed with transverse corneal carcinoma 2 months back, and for the same, hemicolectomy was done. And post-surgery, he had encephalitis with acute kidney injury and blood culture with Staphylococcus hemolyticus. So in this patient, both the endogenous endophthalmitis was diagnosed. And here, the left eye vision was much worse than right eye. And the culture was positive for bacteria and treated as bacterial. But this patient had superadded fungal infection also. Histopathology confirmed candida infection. So initially, he was presented as bacteria, started responding, then started worsening, and explantation of lens and envelope capsulectomy revealed candida albicans. And the patient responded well with antifungal. These are the images that are resolving X-rays. So then other example is like 12 days old male infant with history of abscess in right hand. The patient was like ACTAP confirmed gram-negative bacilli, intravitreal vancomycin ceftazidime, transplanar vitrectomy and vitrectomy along with topical systemic antibiotics and topical steroids and cycloplegic agents were given. But still the patient eventually went to phthisis. So this is as the discussion. So our study duration was 10 years. In our study, we examined 48 eyes, while in Cornell et al. Study, they examined 64 eyes, which was slightly higher. Mean age of presentation was 45.9 years, which was comparable with Pillai et al. Study. And concomitant infection was UTI in our study as well as Pillai et al. Study. And most common organism was bacterial in our study, gram-positive bacteria. And in Pillai et al., they found it's like bacterial and fungal are equal, and other studies, fungal were more. PCR test positivity was 90% in our study, and poor visual prognosis was seen with gram-negative bacteria. And vitrectomy data was similar in all study, even though visual acuity is comparable in bacterial, fungal, and mixed infection. All PL-negative cases were gram-negative bacteria. Endogenous endophthalmitis is difficult to diagnose clinically, and because of comorbid conditions, it's often present with late poor visual prognosis. And all the most common was gram-positive. Aggressive course was seen in neonate and gram-negative organism as causative agent. Overall, gram-negative bacteria cases and extreme age group had poor visual prognosis. PCR test positive was seen in 90.6 cases. Early recognized and accurate diagnosis and appropriate treatment resulted in good visual outcomes. Thank you.
Zuleika, that was a nice presentation. I just wanted to ask you one question about the case 1 which you showed. You said that you all had earlier treated for bacterial and then afterwards you all started fungal treatment. Isn't it possible that this was actually a budding yeast which was missed on microbiology? Because many a times staphylococci present, can be mistaken for, yeast can be mistaken for staphylococci in many kind of this if you don't carefully look for it in the microscopic sections.
Yes, ma'am. As the report
Your clinical appearance of the condition was a fungal one. It was not a bacterial one,
yeah, ma'am. But first picture was like a bacterial infection, but later when he came, it was looking like fungal X-rays.
Because the chance of a mixed infection, unless you have super added it, is generally a little scarce,
Yeah, ma'am.
I want to ask you that any patient had prior IV infusion? History of fever, prior IV infusion?
Yes, sir. It was there.
How many cases? Prior IV infusion, hospitalization? Because that is one of the sources of getting the endogenous endophthalmitis.
Yes, sir. It was seen in around 6 patients. It was seen.
Has PCR changed there is a disparity between the PCR and culture in any of the cases?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was there. Actually, PCR positivity was seen in 90.6% of the cases, but culture was not that much positive.
So there's a disparity, like culture showed fungus and PCR showed bacteria. Is there anything like that? Or both PCR showed both?
Sir, in 1 or 2 cases, that disparity was there.
So it was a pan-fungal and pan-eubacterial genome was tried?
Yeah, sir. It was tried like that.
What about high diabetics? Because your table that you went through of the causative reasons, was there diabetes, like high diabetics, as there were patients of high diabetics?
Yes, sir.
Or kidney transplant patients who are immunocompromised?
Yes, ma'am. But most common was diabetes for comorbidity. Not concomitant infection, but comorbidity was diabetes followed by hypertension. Even kidney patients were also there. Kidney failure patients. But most common was diabetes, ma'am.
Because you went through that slide rather quickly,
Yes, ma'am. First, it was diabetes was the most common comorbidity.
What about anaerobic infections?
It was seen in less percentage of the patients only, ma'am. Not much.
I wanted to ask the panelists, in this COVID pandemic, are we seeing endogenous endophs like in these patients? I just wanted to have the view of the panelists, please.
Yeah.
So we are seeing.
The first wave, we saw quite a few. Now I think it's getting more and more. I think the mucor has picked up much more higher than the endogenous, what we were seeing in the first wave, at least in our part of India, which is Bangalore area, south.
Yeah.
But definitely we did see a lot of fungal endophs earlier. Aspergillus we were seeing a lot in the first wave. Yeah.
GB, what about you?
Yes, we are seeing other retinal changes. That the retinal
occlusions and all are more.
This kind of features,
those are much more in this wave, the second wave. Yeah.